Hello, and welcome back to Point and Shoot, our show about basic photography. I'm your host, Susan Hagstrom, and today I'm very happy to be joined by my guest, Jann Tenenbaum. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Jann is a local Hingham photographer. Her home studio is located near Crow Point, near the shipyard in Hingham, and she specializes in pet photography. We're going to hear a little bit more about that in a bit. But for now, welcome to our set.
Thank you.
So Jann, how did you first get interested in photography?
When I was a teenager, I found in my grandmother's attic Life magazines that she had saved for my uncle through the war, 1939 to 1945. And I grew up in a small new eastern town, and it was just opened up the world to me. I knew every page by heart. I just read them, devoured them, and I wanted to be a photographer.
So then did you go on and study that, or was your training formal or informal, or a little of both?
My training was formal. I went to college. You couldn't take a university course at that time, and I studied 3 years, and I studied photo technology. And my teacher was Karsh's former darkroom technician.
Oh, wow.
He was amazing. So I know a lot about the basic technology, which is all gone now. You know.
Right, but obviously that was film, right?
Film, definitely
exclusively.
Film.
So you really started with film.
I did.
And then made that transition to digital.
Many years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that? How did you find that?
Well, I had worked as a press photographer, and I traveled with a portable darkroom, color and black and white, and it was just mountain. You just had to print, process the film, print, all in the hotel bathroom, and transmit. And when it went to digital, I think I was the first person that everybody said, "Oh, digital! You're not good at digital." I was ready.
Yeah,
I read
so
away.
you found it very liberating then.
Amazingly so.
That's great.
Yes.
Some people, like you say, were very hesitant and went along kicking and screaming, but that's
not me.
That's interesting. And so we'd like to talk on the show about gear. Of course, anyone interested in photography is really interested in gear. So what is it that you use, your sort of go-to camera bodies and lenses?
I started with Nikon and have stayed with Nikon. I have a D200, D300, and just got a D810.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a lot of files.
A lot of power. Yeah. Okay.
I use a 24 to 70 zoom, and the 70 to 200, and a fixed 300. Okay. And that's what I generally use.
Okay. Okay. And now you have a home studio set up. I'm assuming you may do other on-location.
No.
So everything in your studio.
Well, yeah, I shoot for myself everywhere. I carry a camera everywhere.
Oh.
That's
a tip that we should all
it's in my
learn
bag
to do.
constantly.
I don't do it, and I regret it all the time. So if we ever could tell people one thing, if you're into photography, bring your camera everywhere, right?
I have a little point and shoot, and it's also digitally. I can connect it to my phone, and I send out an Instagram addict.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And but no, I mostly just shoot in the studio.
And so how did you go about setting up a home studio, just for the basics part? Some people might be interested in that.
Well, first of all, you negotiate with your husband for that. I work in the garage. Okay. And I've set up with a white plastic, vinyl I think it's called, so you can just wash it. Okay. And a black velour on one side, white there. I have, so it's all set up. It's not very spacious, but it is perfect. And I'm usually embarrassed when it first starts. Here we are in the garage, but when that dog leaves, I go, this is perfect.
Yeah, and you have your lighting set up how you want it.
I have my lighting set up. I have by now lots of lights, but yeah, I keep it, with dogs it's different. You want a lot of detail in the hair and the eyes that you don't want with a person.
Right. So the great thing, of course, about having your own home studio is that it's a very controlled environment. You have it set up exactly how you want it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we've talked a little bit about the pet thing. How did you get started in, specializing in pet photography?
Well, I went to the Museum School of Fine Arts for few years, and I started taking dog pictures to fulfill my lessons, or whatever you call them, right? And I just started realizing how much I loved the dogs.
And
pictures. They made me happy.
Okay, and I'm assuming you had your own pet. You were a dog lover
yes,
or a
yes,
pet lover?
I've always had my own pet, and
Okay.
at this time I had a golden retriever, which is the quintessential dog. Dog to take pictures of,
model.
Outside of a Weimaraner.
Right, Weimaraner, that's what I had. Okay, so that's how you got started. And how long ago, now how long have you been
That
really
would have
specializing
been
in
probably
pets?
since about 2004.
Oh, so
that's
quite a while.
10 years.
Yeah,
It goes fast. Yeah.
So that's good. Now, I would imagine that there are challenging things about working with pets and very rewarding things working with pets. So what's on the challenging side? What would you say?
On the challenging side, I have to be honest. As soon as I have everything ready when they bring their pet in, and I tell them where I want the pet to sit, good, everything's fine. I take a picture. It's a good picture. It's usually the first picture is the picture. We're done.
Right.
Of course, I can't say we're done.
Right.
But anyway, so I have that, and then almost immediately I have rabbits. The dog's ears go down and their tongue comes out, and they start panting, and it's over.
Right.
So then you have to start to really work it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that means they're getting nervous, right?
They're nervous. That's what they do. And the proverbial starting, they look that way. They look that way, and the tongue is there.
Right.
And you just don't want a picture like that. I have no desire.
Now, I'm a dog lover, even a cat lover. I never had cats, but now I have them, and I'm a cat lover. Why do people love pictures of their pets?
Well, I think. Well, it's love.
Yeah.
It's love. The pet is just love.
Yeah.
So right away you connect with your pet. You look at this picture and you connect, and you feel their love and their joy and all the times that you've had together, and it's just joy, love, unconditional love.
And of course, pets have limited lifespans, so people wanna preserve those memories.
The odd thing about everybody generally likes the pictures. They go, "Oh, this is great, thank you." But I meet them on the street every now and again, and they'll say, "You know, my dog died, and I cannot believe that I have that picture. And I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't taken that picture." That is almost the single compliment I get all the time.
Oh, that's great.
My dog died. I love the picture.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm happy.
That's wonderful. We're going to take a closer look at some examples, but before we do, what would you say are, if you could give people a couple of quick tips about taking pictures of their own pets, even if it's with an iPhone or, you know, like you say, a point and shoot. It doesn't have to be something that they're going to enlarge huge and frame, but just some quick ideas, because I know it's challenging. I've done it myself, and I was telling you that my dog, as soon as I would take the camera out, would look away. So a couple quick tips.
Well, first thing, get on the dog's level.
Okay.
Right down there.
Great tip.
Yeah. So, and I'm assuming you got everything prepared ahead of time. You know the exposure, things like that. Okay. So down on the dog's level. Shoot as tight as possible. It is the key to all shooting.
Okay.
But shoot as tight as possible. Get in close. You don't want the whole room.
Right.
You want
the dog.
Yeah. Yep. Body, and then getting closer. Just get close. The other thing is shoot a lot.
Okay.
Shoot and shoot and shoot. It's only electrons.
Right.
You're
Great.
good.
That's awesome. That's 3 really good tips. So you guys should be prepared now to go out and take some pictures of your own pets. That's great. So we're going to take a closer look at some examples, and I think when we look at those, you're going to really see what Jan's talking about getting in close, and then we're going to get some more information about how to get those great expressions from your pets. So stay tuned, and we will be back in a sec. Hello and welcome back to Point and Shoot. We're here today talking to Jann Tenenbaum. She's a photographer right here in Hingham. She has her home studio located near the shipyard, near Crow Point, and she specializes in pet photography. We got some great tips a few minutes ago about how to take pictures of your own pet, and now we're going to take a closer look at some of Jann's work, and I think in these samples you're going to really see how she employs some of those tips. So let's take a look.
This is the start. This is one of the very first pictures I took of, I took thousands of pictures of dogs, but this picture meant a lot and got a lot of reaction, and I decided at this point I wanted to be a pet photographer because it made me very, very happy.
So that was it. We talked a little bit about some of the challenges, and I know you were going to tell us about some of the rewarding parts. So this obviously was the thing that made you realize it was going to be very rewarding.
Yes, yes, yeah. Very, yeah. And I love the dog. This is a sample of what I think of as my quintessential dog picture. The dog is alert, there. I don't know, it shows his personality.
Right. You've got the catch light in the eyes. You've got a very, very plain background. Is that's your, you
I always use
that?
plain background,
Really
and
makes it
fur.
stand out.
Again, quintessential, just shows that little puppy. You just want to keep that, you want that puppy. I also recommend pictures of taking pictures of your puppies because they change so fast.
Right.
They look one way for 10 years, but for the first few months, they are puppies.
And are you doing something here to get their attention? I mean, are you...
I do a lot to get their attention.
Okay.
As I said, I'm right on the dog's level.
Okay,
I'm down
so you're
low. I do seem to do the same thing I do the same setup most of the time in terms of I like the dog straight on.
Okay.
And I probably have the owner over my back looking at me.
So they're looking up at you.
Yeah, so they look. These are two brothers. And I
what
just
kind of
love
dog
them.
is that?
I think it's a Labradoodle.
Okay.
And two brothers, so sweet,
Oh
and
my
I just loved them.
Yeah.
And they were young enough that they sallied out.
Oh my gosh.
These are the same two dogs. I wanted to show that you can do a variety of things with them, and they just put their tongue out. There it was. You didn't see it. If you see it, you didn't get it. That's the old axiom of cameras.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. This is a French Bulldog I took for a gentleman, and I had a hard time. The dog was nuts. So I put the dog in a chair, which is another tip that I employ and I would suggest, is that if the dog moves a lot, contain the dog. Okay. So when the gentleman saw the picture, he said, "Oh, that was," I'm going to use the word, "that was brilliant." Yeah. And I unfortunately told him the truth, and I just said, "Oh, I just wanted to contain the dog." That's a Louis V chair, not my chair, and a French Bulldog. So he just thought that was great.
Yeah. I love the lighting.
Yep. Yeah.
That's great.
This is a poodle, and I included this because I wanted to show that it's not just the same picture all the time. He was just down. I was standing over him, and I just snapped it, and I loved it. Yeah. Not everybody does, but it's a cheerful, happy picture. Yeah. I love this picture. As soon as it came up on the I use Lightroom, and you had asked me what the rewards are, and I think for me the reward is when I'm going through the pictures and then I just see one I love. Yeah. And I whether that's your dog or not a dog, you love that dog. Yeah. You know that dog is there. He would protect you. He would love you. Again, my profile, and I know this is not the prettiest dog in the world. I love this picture. This dog is so sweet, Rosie. And everybody loved this dog. Very old, but beautiful dog. Yeah. I loved this just because it's so
this is different. This is really
different. This is different. And you know, this is in the editing, and I think editing is another key. And you have to be very open-minded when you edit, and I just like this. I like the two colored eyes, and just his kind of peeking around. You feel that there is some. You feel him.
Yeah.
And he's So I like this one. I liked it. Again, I loved the. It looks like a Renaissance painting. Just the lighting, chiaroscuro.
You can really see the detail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that you learn, I think, again, a little bit through editing, but really lighting where you're, even though you have a black background and a black dog, the edge is very clearly defined, especially with that one little
hair.
eyelash or hair,
God knows what is sticking
out. Whisker, and then you can really see the detail in the fur under the eye and, above the mouth, and it's just great.
And this is another reason why I like to shoot dogs. I always say a dog loves their picture. You show that dog that picture, and they'll go, I love that. I love that picture. Right. I love that picture.
And I notice you have the collar here, too. I mean, people probably come in with their own, things that they use, but that's a really nice contrast between the black of the dog and the yellow.
I leave that up to the owner. Okay, do you want it on? Do you want it off? I don't have a preference.
Okay.
But dogs are much easier to shoot than people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Person would not like all that details.
Right.
Again, this is just a little puppy, and
is it a beagle?
It's a beagle, a miniature, and just playing with a toy, and just it's just a moment in time of that animal.
Yeah.
And then you have that forever.
Yeah. Now, when I see these pictures, the expressions. I mean, you dogs really have an expression, but
they do.
I don't know if you don't have a lot of experience. I mean, I don't know if this is your experience. We'll say it is.
Okay.
Because it's just fascinating to me. Like, I mean, the face is just so expressive.
Well, actually, this is my dog.
That's your dog. Okay.
And that is her face. Like, what have you done for me lately?
Well, but it's kind of a little bit of a smile, and the eyes just look cheerful. And I love, now that looks like a difficult pose to do.
Well, no, that's just shoot a lot.
Okay.
My tip number 3, and she just happened to move, and then my other tip would be in the editing. You find the one, and again, you can see I was down. I was on the dog's level, and I think that makes it. That's what I prefer.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's the best because there are other ways, but anyway, yeah.
Okay. Well, that was great. I really enjoyed that. It's amazing to see to me, the expressions in the dog's face. I mean, I think each dog definitely has its own personality, and I think that's what you're really trying to capture in those pictures is the dog's personality.
Yeah.
And I think you were hugely successful. So we saw some great samples. We've heard a few tips. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to actually be inside Jann's home studio. So we're going to get to see her in action. We're going to continue again with the tips. I think you'll be able to see how she employs that. We're going to see some lighting tips. We're going to see your dog is going to be modeling for us. Is that right?
Apparently, yes.
And so we're going to get some great shots of what's your dog's name?
Isabella.
Isabella. So we're going to see Isabella. We're going to see Jann in action in her home studio.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. Come back. Hey, welcome back to Point and Shoot. We've been having a great discussion today with Jann Tenenbaum, pet photographer, and now here we are in Jann's home/garage studio. Yes. It's a great setup. You've got everything you need, and it's very efficient on space. So we're going to take a closer look at that in a minute. We've been talking about pet photography. You've heard some great tips so far for how to do a better job with your own pet. But now we're going to see how a pro really works with a live subject that we have today. So Jann, when a client shows up and they've got their pet with them, what's the process that you go through prior to the shoot?
The first thing I ask them is to come and talk to me before they let the dog out of the car. I bring them into the studio and show them where I need the dog to stand and approximately how we're going to proceed. To stay out of the light and to just be calm with the dog. I don't like the dog shouldn't get excited if possible. So then the owner will go and get the dog and bring it in. The dog smells and sniffs and walks around and smells and sniffs. And then we start. I ask her, him or her, to put the dog in my designated spot, and we try. We do our
Okay,
best.
that sounds good. So we're going to do that. You're going to see that happen now. We're going to be assisted by your husband / assistant today.
Yes, the co-owner of this amazing dog.
Okay,
Isabel.
and your dog, Isabel. So let's take a look at how Jann works.
Today, my husband will play the role of the dog owner, and as our beautiful dog Isabel will be our subject. The first thing that I would do with any client is to ask them, bring them in and ask them to place the dog about center here. There's a light over, a flash here, an overhead light for detail. And so would you keep her in this area while I shoot? And I will just now sit down and we'll start taking this dog's picture.
Big eyes. Look up here.
And I have a long
Look up
lens
here.
on. You can do her tight.
What a good girl. That's a good look.
Oh,
You're getting sleepy.
what a...
Good
What a-
girl. Hey, look up here. Look up here.
And now I reach for a wider lens.
Good girl. Look up.
And David, could you put her back a little further?
I can.
As you see, I am right down on the dog's level. What I like to do is I like to have their eyes. Isabel, BB. What I sometimes do is I have a squeaker. Not now. Isabel, want a treat? There. This dog is very well behaved. Oh, I'm going to get in just a bit closer.
Okay, so as you told us before, you like to get in really tight
I like to get in really tight.
and basically having the subject fill the frame.
Yep, and I like the eyes. Oh, there.
So really focus in on the eyes. They always say you really want those eyes sharp so that even then if, the top of the ears or something is a little soft, it's okay, but you really got to have those eyes sharp, right?
See that she's starting, her tongue, her mouth is coming open now. What dogs will do once they get nervous is their tongue will come out, they'll start to pat, and their ears will go down. And then that's when your real work begins. You have to work very hard to get them
Okay.
relaxed again. Okay, Isabel, come here. Come, I want to get her up. There, a girl. Oh, beautiful, Isabel. Beautiful. Stay. Sit. Now I have the little paw crossed.
How long does a session usually last?
Session usually, okay, here's the truth. I usually get the first picture that I take is the picture that is the best picture. And then what happens is the dog falls apart and then I work and work. I think, honestly, it's no more than a half hour before
Okay.
I get the picture I want. Isabel, there.
Very good model we have with us today.
Good model.
Well, that was a great demonstration. Thank you, Jann.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you.
We really got a lot of great tips today. You saw Jann in action and Isabel, great model, furrier than most of our models, but still very pretty and beautiful. Did a great job. So I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you are able to use some of this knowledge when you take your own pet photos. If you're interested in having Jann photograph your pet, we will be putting some information up in just a bit. And you can always call HCAM if you want more information. Jann, your website?
Jann Loves Dogs. Jann Loves Dogs.
Jann Loves Dogs, and so do we. So thanks for joining us again, and tune in next time. And remember, we learned so many things about taking pictures of dogs and setting up your own studio, but you only need to know 2 things to be a better photographer, and that's point and shoot.
Hi, I'm Jann Tenenbaum, and this is my camera bag. First of all, I use a rolling bag, a think tank it's called, and I keep everything in here, not on my shoulder. I have too many injuries. The first thing, my most beloved 810 Nikon 810 camera with a 70 to 200 zoom. It fits right in here, nice and safe and ready to go. I carry a second body, always carry a second body, and it's a 300, D300 Nikon, D3, sorry. This is my 24 to 70 zoom, 2.8, as bright as I can get them, as bright as I can get my lenses. I carry a SB910 flash and a Jackrabbit turbo battery, so I have great recycle time, and I carry a cord so I can put my lens, put my flash off camera and keep it from shooting directly into someone's face. This is one of my most important. This is an Expo disc, and it. I put it on each camera before I shoot in the location. It measures my white balance so that when I get back to the to Lightroom, both my cameras are synced to the same white balance. Boom, you just do the sync and it's wonderful. I carry, for my flash, I carry a Rogue pack. It goes over the flash and acts as a diffuser. Here is another diffuser that I keep handy to avoid shooting right into someone's face and having that flash fall off. I carry an extra memory card. That's all I need. That's it. I'm Jann Tenenbaum, and that's my camera bag.